Hello and welcome to another beautiful edition of Iron Port. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by the Meridian Port Services Limited, the Ghana Revenue Authority, Goyle Company Limited, Serene Insurance and Ghana Link. The program is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Our media partner is the Business and Financial Times. Viewers, this week we are looking at the importance of a robust and effective transport and logistics sector when it comes to trade facilitation within Africa. This comes on the back of the CILT Africa Forum 2022, which was held here in Ghana last week. Let's take a look at what transpired there. We'll be back for the main discussion. The Deputy Minister of Transport, Alassane Tampoli, has identified the creation of a robust multimodal transport network as key to the success of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. Speaking on behalf of the Minister of Transport, Kweku Foriesiama, at the opening ceremony of the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport Africa Forum held in Accra, the Deputy Minister said transport would play a key role in linking activities within the continent and beyond.
On our part as policymakers, we remain committed to the facilitation of passenger and cargo across our borders and to other African countries through the development and enhancement of ground and air transport infrastructure, from airports, seaports, and cargo terminals to maritime and airspace management. In terms of infrastructure, we have embarked on massive infrastructure development to improve all our seaports and airports, as well as railway connectivity.
The Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry, Herbert Krapa, also supported a call for improved multimodal transport network in order to meet the continent's integration objectives.
The development of the Akosombo-Mpakadan rail line, which is part of the 1,000-kilometer rail connection between Ghana and Burkina Faso, and this line, when completed, will link Ghana from Tema to Ouagadougou. The Boankra Inland Port, which is expected to ease congestion at our ports by linking the ports of Tema and Takoradi to the inner parts of the country and the landlocked countries of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger.
The president of CILT Ghana, Engineer Mark Amwama, said the institute is ready to partner stakeholders to help achieve the AfCFTA objectives.
CILT is also ready to create awareness of the AfCFTA at the levels of the academia and industry on the benefits of AfCFTA and then the role of transport and logistics in these benefits. CILT is ready to partner with other industry stakeholders to help achieve set objectives.
The CILT Ghana serves as a platform for governments, organizations, and individuals to share, learn, and promote professional and business interests. The theme for the CILT Africa Forum 2022 was sustainable implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, the role of logistics, transport, and industry. Welcome back. Like I was saying earlier, we examined the importance of an effective and robust transport and logistics sector in Africa when it comes to trade facilitation. We had the privilege to interact with members from the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport Ghana on the matter. Take a listen.
Madam, let me find out from you. Most of the time, what people complain about in terms of intra-Africa trade is the high cost of transportation, high cost of transport. I want to find out from you, what are some of the things we can do to lessen the burden on people who trade Africa, and to make the cost of transport very less or low for them?
Trading in Africa has been said that the cost of transport is very high. Mm-hmm. It is true, because our volumes are very low. Our road infrastructure is not the best. Our export level is not at the level.
Right.
So let's take it, for example, you are importing oil, yes, from Asia or from Europe.
Yeah.
The vessel calls at the port. On its return, it's half empty.
Yeah.
It's not able to carry any cargo back. Therefore, your cost for just moving from Europe to Africa, to any of the ports in Africa, from any of the ports in Europe to Africa, will be more costly than someone moving from Europe to China, to Asia, where he knows that on his return to Europe, he will have the volumes to go with.
Yeah.
It is about time we created the volumes. It's about time we also, even on our road network, we reduce the burden on our road networks and begin to make sure that even within Africa, we can use all the various modes of transport to make goods and the cost of transport cheaper.
Right.
For example, our inland waterways are there. Our railways. In Africa, we don't even use our railways. It is said it's about 0.3%
yeah.
of the total of Africa.
Not even 1%.
No.
Yeah.
You see, so you will realize that cost of transport can be very high. And then we need to make sure that we have the export volumes.
Right.
Not just the raw materials, but we should also be able to carry across manufactured goods.
Yeah.
You know, that makes things cheaper for us in terms of the transport.
Yeah.
We need also to remove non-tariff barriers on the way when we are using road network.
Yeah.
And so some of these things add to the cost. If I'm moving from Abidjan down to Lagos, the road checkpoints, how many are they? And then all of these things, customs, border delays, all of them cost us time and money.
Yes.
But if we can release, if you can take off these non-tariff barriers, ensure that there are no delays at the borders, that there's a seamless flow, I think that the cost of transport will come down.
Right.
We've realized that today, using Ghana, we are doing this in Pakadan Railway.
Sure.
We also have the Volta Lake. If we bring goods, we are developing another port, apart from Takrady, apart from Tema.
Sure.
We have a third one, it's the Keita port.
Keita,
Now we can say that if goods arrive at the port, we can carry them in rail wagons going up. We don't necessarily need to use the road.
Right.
Halfway, we can dump them in barges and carry them on the Volta Lake.
Right.
If we really see the economic benefit of the Volta Lake by removing the tree stumps to make an easy passage, involving all of this can bring down the cost of transport. But it depends on our policies.
What are some of the things that you think that we can be doing to ensure that we accelerate trade in a less expensive manner across Africa?
In areas or in countries where we have seamless flow of transport and logistics, goods and services have the best out of them. And places where we have inefficiencies of logistics and transport, automatically the cost of transportation and logistics could be equated within 30 to 35%. And that is what happens. So things that we have to do as a country and as a continent, I will begin by making sure that we have the leadership at hand. See, whatever grows begin with leadership, and whatever fails also begin with leadership. So decision makers and our governments and our people who are in the helm of affairs must have what it takes to make sure that wherever corner they've been placed, they deliver. And that is the beginning point. The next also has to do with the fact that we must also have funding for infrastructure. As a continent, we have a deficit when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to logistics and transport. So for us to get it and get it right, we must have funding for it. Countries like Ghana is doing well when it comes to infrastructure. Thumbs up to the Terminal 3 of the GPHA, we are doing well. When we come to Swissport too, we're also not doing bad at all. When you go to other African countries too, we're also doing very well. But there's much deficit with respect to infrastructure, and much funding must be given to that area so that we can bridge that gap and ensure that we have that seamless flow among the modes and between also the modes. I must also go to one of the key things we have to also look at is we have to also see how we can also refine and transform and have skilled personnel. people in Home of Affairs must have what it takes to deliver. When you can, the world is now going digital. So if you are having information and knowledge in the 50s and 60s, it cannot thrive this time around.
Absolutely.
So while the world is going digital, transport is also going digital. It's also embracing technology.
Right.
So our men and women in Home of Affairs must also have upskill in terms of what they have to take to deliver. I believe when we have these three strong pillars, making sure that we have a strong investment for our infrastructure, we have skills, manpower, and at the end of the day, too, we have the leadership that will call to make sure that things are done. We go a long way to get it done. Not also forgetting the last one, making sure that we also have funding for maintenance.
Okay.
See, we may have, like Antenna Wright said, there are roads that have been built for many years. All that those roads still need to provide that sustainability is maintenance. So funding must also be made to ensure that those roads that have been built can also be sustained through making sure that the funding that has been provided for maintenance is used for that purpose. So that at the end of the day, we can have best out of transport and logistics. That can also, in the long run, contribute to the economic development of a country and the continent.
Right. Madam, let me come to you. I sat in the forum, and I heard people clamor for African governments to own vessels, emanating from the fact that the current situation, as we have it, is that when we have goods meant for another African country, right from Ghana, the vessel will find its way to Europe or some other country, some other continent, before it gets back to that particular African country, which delays a lot. We had African Independent Coastal Services operated by Stanley Aholo and his team, which was a feeder vessel at MBR Adobia, and it's gone out of operation. Isn't it time we start clamoring and calling on governments within the continent to, as it were, rally resources to acquire vessels to ensure smooth, link-ups in terms of, carriage of goods by sea?
Yes, Mona, this is a very important part because sea transport carries about 90% of the volume of trade all over the world, the volume of trade. So we realize that trade and sea transport are interlinked. If we want to do trade, Africa wants to trade amongst its member states as well as undertake international trade. We can generate the cargo, but if we don't own our own vessels, it will be difficult for us to carry successfully our trade and earn the foreign exchange that we need. Shipping lines, yes, vessels are needed at this time. And you know what? The volume of investment or the amount of investment that can put our vessels into place is not as much as what is needed for either road networks and equipment or even the railways. It's far cheaper to set up a maritime transport for our own selves. We need to do regional sea shipping. I always look at these from the ECOWAS point of view, looking from Senegal down to even Angola. That's the shipping range. If we decide to trade amongst ourselves and we have coastal vessels, short sea shipping, it will go a long way in carrying our own trade. To generate your trade and to carry it goes a long way to affect your own economic development. Right now in Africa, I don't know which of the shipping lines are standing. When you call Black Star Line, Nigerian shipping lines, Cameroon shipping lines, where are they all? But some time back, they were there, and we're proud of them.
Owning some of this fleet of vessels are strategic in nature because there is the element for you to own for a reason. So indeed, we will support the call for African leaders and decision makers to own so that indeed we can make the continental free trade operational at all fronts.
The logistics corridors in Africa, how effective are they and how will they contribute to intra-Africa trade?
Again, I'll look at my region, the ECOWAS region, for example. Taking a strategic corridor like Abidjan to Lagos, or from Dakar to Lagos, or Abidjan to Ouagadougou.
Right.
These are all strategic corridors that can be developed. And these are corridors that we think that, one, is safe for transit, it's affordable, we don't have unnecessary roadblocks,
Right.
or we can determine that some of these things can be removed so that it becomes a highway that flows through seamlessly. Other corridors that are about 55 corridors for the whole of Africa
Right.
have been identified to be strategic corridors. And fortunately, the European Union is ready to support Africa to develop these corridors.
Right.
And these corridors will go a long way in helping with the African continental free trade, in boosting intra-African trade, regional integration as well, and therefore economic development and reduction of poverty. So these are identified strategic corridors that we are all looking up to reach the hinterlands, the coastal areas, whether it's from the northern part. For example, we are from Cairo down to Durban or Cape Town.
Yeah.
If you have such a trans-African highway, you can imagine that you can drive straight, so there will be no difficulty with lead times. I read somewhere that said that America is rich, not because of anything, but because it has the best road infrastructure. You know, so if we can also develop these highways or even the strategic corridors, it will go a long way in helping our economic development, because we'll be trading faster with each other.
One thing that a lot of people in the industry are concerned about is the involvement of shipping lines in, what do we call it, the logistics sector. Most of the shipping lines these days have logistics departments that, does the freight forwarding for them, that does the clearance and all those things for them. And they maintain their core business of ocean carriage. And I just want to find out from you whether you think that this is a threat to the logistics and transport industry in our country.
Mon, I believe that you can't stop, because it's not just here in Africa. No, it's in the Americas, it's in Asia and the Pacific. They are gaining grounds. They are everywhere. But is it possible that we can also take this as an opportunity or as a strategy to grow our own, call on our logistic providers, and work in Africa? We are not saying that they can go ocean-wise, but even here, with small vessels of maybe 1,500 TEUs or up to 3,000, to also come together at logistic providers. They can also come together and acquire smaller vessels. They may not be the huge 8,000 or 15,000 or 24,000 or 30,000 TEUs. But for this Africa, I would like to call upon our logistic providers, our freight forwarders. Can they come together? Because these major ocean carriers have grown big because of what they sought to do. They merged, they formed alliances, they took over other companies that were in competition with them, and gradually they grew.
Mergers and acquisitions.
Exactly. Mergers, acquisitions, alliances took place some years back, and today they are big. And today they are coming back into the logistics sector that didn't belong to them, but they are seeing the usefulness. Now we have them going up, consolidating cargo right at the farmyard and bringing it down to the ports and carrying it out. They are having terminals where they can get quick access and discharge and be able to turn around, their cargo handling and everything. You can't stop it, but you can also learn from it.
Now let us take a few of your comments on the subject that has just been discussed. Here are some comments. This one says, it is high time government takes a good look into the operations of these foreign shipping lines in our country. Some of these companies are charging illegal fees and charges such as $10 cancellation of invoice and $25, failing to pay for invoices on exports within 10 days. Some of these companies need serious scrutiny and investigation. This one is from Richard K. Ejapong. He says, Africa needs its own vessels to reduce cost of doing business, in addition to avoid high cost of detention and demerit charges. My name is Noah Fofana, watching from Sierra Leone. This is a very good discussion. Africans should be dependent on trade, and we should have our own vessels instead of depending on outsiders. For example, in my own town, iron ore mining operations are going on, but we have vessels not owned by Africans. Even the hauling of the ore to the harbor is owned by investors out of Africa. Many of African businesses depend on people outside Africa for the transportation of their cargoes. Are there no investors in Africa that can invest in maritime? It is high time we stood up on our own. So as we could clearly hear, our guests as well as viewers are calling on governments and industry to come together and work together to create our own, particularly when it comes to maritime transport. Iron Port returns after this break.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water, or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor,
I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance
for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Thanks for staying. Now let us pick a few international shipping and maritime related stories around the world. French shipping giant CMA CGM Group and PSA Corporation, a subsidiary of PSA International, have signed a memorandum of understanding to create and implement digital solutions relating to CMA CGM's port and terminal handling activities in Singapore. According to the MOU, the companies will work through their joint venture partnership, CMA CGM PSA Lion Terminal. CMA CGM plans to adopt PSA's Opt-A-Arrive digital solution to reduce carbon emission through optimization of bunker consumption. Specifically, Opt-A-Arrive is programmed to enable vessels to skip the anchorage stop and arrive just in time at berth at CPLT. A new consortium is to build a second container terminal at the port of Damietta on Egypt's northeast coast, which is scheduled to come into operation in 2024. A Hapag-Lloyd statement said Eurogate and Conship Italia would be its joint venture partners in the scheme. Hapag-Lloyd Damietta GmbH will take a 39% stake, Eurogate Damietta GmbH a 29.5% stake, and Conship Damietta SRL a 29.5% stake. Two minority local shareholders will each take 1%. Located only 62 kilometers from Suez Canal Container Terminal at the northern entrance to the Suez Canal, the development emphasizes Egypt's growing attractiveness as a trade hub at the eastern end of the Mediterranean Sea. The Suez Canal Authority, the Egyptian state-owned entity responsible for operating and maintaining the Suez Canal, and the International Chamber of Shipping, representing 80% of the world's merchant fleet, have agreed to work towards increasing information sharing and negotiations on the movement of the global trade through the canal under a memorandum of understanding signed between the two parties at the SCA head office in Ismailia, Egypt. The year-long commitment formalizes discussions between the ICS and SCA that have taken place throughout the COVID-19 pandemic and since the grounding of the Ever Given in March 2021. Now it's time for the schedule of vessels that have berth within the port, those at anchorage and those expected in the coming weeks, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rates, which you may need to know to clear your cargo with. Alright, this is where we close today's edition of Iron Port. All Iron Port content can be found on our YouTube channel, Iron Port. Remember to subscribe, like, and give us feedback. Thank you for watching.